You're tuning into Black and White Sports on YouTube. The no-holds-barred truth on sports. The main event starts now.
I'm back. Rodgers for Black and White Sports 2. Well, I don't know why the Jets are doing this. I mean, I know they let go of Mike LaFleur. And honestly, when you start looking at the situation involving Nathaniel Hackett, it's like you don't know exactly what to think. You know, was Russell Wilson the big problem? Was it Nathaniel Hackett? Was it a combination of the two? I tend to believe it was a little bit of a combination of the two that caused the major issues with the Broncos. And, look, the NFL is littered throughout history with coordinators that are great coordinators, but they're probably not great head coaches, all right? We don't know what to think about Josh McDaniels on the second go-around, but it has not started well, okay? When you're handed Derek Carr, and next thing you know, Derek Carr is going to be traded or released, and now he's gone. You bring Jarrett Stidham in, and all of a sudden he looks like a world beater against the 49ers defense. Interesting. And you got Nathaniel Hackett with the Broncos. Of course, he gets fired 15 games in. And then all of a sudden, Russell Wilson picks up a little life the last couple of games of the year. Again, don't know what to believe. So, let's get to this. We're going to... I don't know. Some guys are strictly cut out to be a coordinator and not a head coach. Jets interviewing Nathaniel Hackett for offensive coordinator job after disastrous Broncos season. You guys know this is something we covered a lot on this channel. The Jets once had Hackett calling their plays. A Hackett. Could they bring in another? I believe they had his dad, Paul, right? Nathaniel Hackett interviewed with the Jets on Wednesday for their offensive coordinator vacancy. According to a source, Hackett is the son of Paul Hackett, who was the offensive coordinator during Herm Edwards' 2001 to 04 run. We played to win the game. Hello. Hackett was most recently the head coach of the Broncos. He lasted just 15 games this season before he was fired. Look, we also have to be fully aware that Hackett was brought in by the previous regime, and the thought process was that Aaron Rodgers was absolutely going to the Denver Broncos. I mean, it was shocking. Let's put it this way. When he decided to go back to the Packers, it was a much bigger surprise at the time that was announced than the other way around. Russell Wilson was always the backup option there. I mean, the Broncos thought for sure they were getting Aaron Rodgers. The Jets have cast a wide net for coordinator candidates, interviewing first-time play callers as well as experienced ones such as Hackett. One candidate who declined the chance to interview was Dolphins quarterbacks coach Darrell Bevell, who told the Jets he was not interested, according to a source. The NFL Network also reported that Bevell turned down the Commanders' interview request. What is going on with Bevell? Bevell declining the chance to interview shows the opening may be tough to fill. The Jets' job is not overly attractive because there is a question at quarterback, and the coaching staff is entering a make-or-break season. Yeah, but you could certainly view that. Let's say you're a former head coach, and you take that job. Frank Wright is somebody that I think of right off the bat. And let's say you get 7 games in next year, and the Jets are 1-6, or 2-5. Saleh gets fired. You may get handed the keys to that team. So I don't know. Hackett, 43, has a history with Jets head coach Robert Saleh and could be a good fit. The two worked together with the Jags in 2015-16 when Saleh coached the linebackers and Hackett was the quarterbacks coach. Hackett became the offensive coordinator in Jacksonville under Doug Marrone from 2016 to 2018. Hackett helped the Jaguars go to an AFC championship game with Blake Bortles at quarterback. And I don't know if anybody remembers this, Blake Bortles had a phenomenal year that year. I mean, I think he was something like 37 touchdowns. Blake Bortles was 37 touchdowns. The Jaguars were 6th in total offense that season. He went on to be an offensive coordinator with the Packers in 19-21 under Matt LaFleur, who is one of Saleh's best friends. The Packers had top 10 offenses his final 2 seasons there. They were number 1 in scoring offense in 2020. So, on paper, it looks like it might not be the worst hire in the world when Aaron Rodgers won back-to-back MVP awards. Now, here's the thing about that, though. Aaron Rodgers was the quarterback. I mean, the Blake Bortles thing is more impressive than the Aaron Rodgers thing, right? I mean, when you have Blake Bortles and you can take that Jaguars team, and I remember that Jaguars team very vividly, he did a lot that covered up deficiencies for Blake Bortles, who, by the way, is now out of football. He's not even wasn't even a backup. He's retired and walked away. Considered one of the biggest busts ever outside of that one weird outlier year with the Jags going to an AFC championship game. So, Nathaniel Hackett may end up being a really good offensive coordinator for somebody because that may be his lane. Plain and simple. Norv Turner is a guy that was an all-time great offensive coordinator. He was so good at offensive coordinator, he kept getting head coaching jobs, and it just would not work out. Okay, Wade Phillips, great defensive coordinator, right? Underrated when people don't bring up the fact that Wade Phillips was defensive coordinator with the Rams there for a while. Wade Phillips was an okay head coach. Not a good head coach, not a great head coach. An okay head coach. He was probably better than Norv Turner. I think even Norv Turner might have had a couple of outlier kind of years. Jack Del Rio's another guy that kind of keeps getting head coaching jobs, right? So, I don't know. You hear this, you're a Jets fan. You probably go into some kind of a panic. I'm going to tell you what the Jets did here. LaFleur was a sacrificial lamb, okay? And I actually think it may have backfired. And the reason it may have backfired, and this is something that, you're hearing around the grapevine, I think Jimmy Garoppolo was going to be the quarterback or could end up getting a serious look from the Jets at quarterback. It makes a lot of sense. Robert Saleh was with the Niners when Jimmy was there. But you got rid of LaFleur, who was the passing game coordinator with the Niners. He would have been perfect for Jimmy. Jimmy could have walked in the door, pick up the ball, and that Jets team, I'm telling you right now, if Jimmy could stay healthy, and I understand that can be a big if, but if Jimmy Garoppolo could stay healthy, that Jets team would win 11 games next year with Jimmy Garoppolo. But I don't feel the same way about somebody like Derek Carr. I just don't. A lot of people want to compare them. No, Jimmy's winning percentage is light years better than Derek Carr's. All right? And I think some of that's got to do with the tutelage and his time he spent with New England. People forget Jimmy was with New England for a substantial amount of time. A winning culture. Then he goes around Shanahan. So I don't know. It depends. And here's something else that's going on out there. People have actually mentioned Aaron Rodgers now to the Jets because of this Hackett interview. I just don't know about that. Andrew Brandt, I saw where he come out and said today that he thought it was literally he had no gauge on Rodgers this year. He felt for sure Rodgers was leaving last year. Like he thought 95% Rodgers was going to another team. Then he went back to the Packers. This year, he said he's literally like 1/3 retiring, 1/3 staying with the pack, 1/3 going to another team. So I don't think the Packers and people around the league have any idea where Aaron Rodgers' head is at. All right? Could Hackett and Rodgers be secretly conversing right now? I don't know, but if you're Hackett, how can you believe it when you probably took the Broncos job thinking that Rodgers was coming to be your quarterback, and you look up and you get Russell Wilson, and frankly, don't think Russell Wilson could run that Green Bay offense, believe it or not. There was something about that offense that was not a fit for Russell. And while I'm thinking about it, we've seen Darrell Bevell has turned down 2 offensive coordinator jobs. You have to wonder if Sean Payton, who is looking for $20 to $25 million, Denver can afford that, no problems. But let's say he decides, I'm not coming back this year. I'm going to stay with Fox. Darrell Bevell would be the perfect coach for Denver because he was the OC in Seattle, okay, when Russell was there. And it makes you wonder, does Darrell Bevell believe that he might have a shot behind the scenes? Nobody knows about it for that Denver Broncos head coaching job. That's why he's turned down these OC gigs. I don't know. And look, we'd be remiss in not stating the fact that the Jets quarterback position is a mess. I mean, I like Mike White, but I mean, who knows? Is that your starter for sure? And Zach Wilson, I'm going to tell you, I know they're bringing back Zach Wilson. If the Jets go in the next season with Zach Wilson as their quarterback, Robert Saleh will not make it halfway through the season. He'll get fired. Zach Wilson can't play. All right? He can't play. Tell me what you think. Black and white sports supporters. I love these kind of videos. I can get on here and we can just muse about potential OC gigs and what's going on and who's going where and why the mindset might be here versus not there, or could there be personnel moves tied with an OC, etc. My favorite kind of video to make. Peace. I'm out. Till next time.
Thanks for watching the show. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Be sure to tune in next time on Black and White Sports.